Okay, so today we're going to build the YF-937 Queen Hornet designed by ballisticshark. The instructions for this thing are on Reddit and you can find the link in the description. Now this thing has parts from all over the galaxy, so the easiest place to build it is on your own outpost launchpad with a builder. They're really easy to set up if you don't have one already, and they're easy to take down or ignore if you don't really want to maintain an outpost. After your outpost is ready, you're going to want to buy or capture another ship. For my main character, I'm going to use the Razor Leaf as my ship target for this makeover. Now, this outpost won't have Yay. Alright. This outpost won't have all of the pieces we need, but we can get most of this ship done and then worry about the finishing touches later on. Also, I'm strictly following the instructions for this design, but we're buying the cheapest parts we can to make this thing as cheap as possible. The engines are where this thing is going to skyrocket in price. I'm going to make a follow-up video on this later on when I improve the interior layouts to deal with the door and ladder problems this ship absolutely is going to have. So first things first, let's start the ship builder. We're going to select everything and delete it. When we do it this way, we can just start at the ground level. So the Razor Leaf comes with a shipbed 200 landing bay, and that's what we're going to start with. This is literally the bay that we need to start with. If you're using a different ship, well, this is what we start with. On the back, we're just going to add a Deimos 1x1. I like the companionways more than the storerooms, but you can use whatever you want. Alright, so next what you're going to do is you're going to put whatever grav drive you had before on top of the bay. And then you're going to put your reactor on top of the 1x1, which this doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, but we can fix this later on. The original build uses a 2-level grav drive, but this is what I have right now. But we'll upgrade that. We're going to upgrade everything as we need to later on in order to get this thing's mobility and top speed out of the gutter. Alright, so next we need the fuel tanks. They're going to go on the side of the bay, and what we're using, or according to the instructions, is the H40 Atlas tank, and it looks like I'm not high enough level for that, so we're just going to use the H30. It's close enough, and it'll still do the same job. We're going to duplicate that and put it on the other side. Okay, so next this thing wants us to put in our landing gear, but the landing gear that it asks for is only found at one of the dealers, so we have to get it from them later on. But for now, since it's roughly the same shape, we're going to use this. We're going to use the AccuLander 11 landing gear, since this thing just has connections on all sides and we can stick it wherever we need to. We're only going to add as much gear as this thing requires to let us finish the build, and then we'll just use the right amount when we get the real landing gear. Let's see, in the front, well, I guess it's not actually connected, we're going to just grab the structural piece, the Deimos Skeg A. This one goes here, because what this is going to do is it's going to be in front of all of our other landing gears, and we'll just make copies of this thing as we go. It doesn't, the only connection it has is at the top, so it's just going to be floating, not connected to anything for now. Okay, so on either side of this companionway, we're going to add the Stroud 2x1. So let's see, which one is it asking for? Okay, so first on the left-hand side, we're going to put the workshop, even though it doesn't really want to fit there, so we'll just do this the hard way. Workshop. Right there. And then the science lab on the other side. Now the neat thing about this is that we can make a copy of this and then just change the variant and change that to the science lab. Now, behind these two things, we can actually place 2 instances of our landing gear, which these need to be here anyway. So for now, so we have that set up. Come in through the landing bay into the companionway, and you go left or right to go to the workshop or the science lab. We have our 2 landing gear behind. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add the structural pieces, the Stroud cap A, and make sure that this looks like that. And then flip it for the opposite side, and we're good to go there. We do need a couple extra of these, but these are basically just placeholders for now, like we were saying before. And those are actually going to be up here in front of these. In front of that. Well, I may as well just point them out where they go. That's basically where they're going to be. And that is the first level of our ship. Okay, so what we're going to do is from here on our second level, we're going to copy the companionway, and we're going to put one on each of the front side of the 2 habs. Then we throw on the Deimos. Where are you at? The Deimos 3-in-1 Engineering A and B. Now from here we can actually connect our 2 landing gears to those. Let's see, we're going to go all the way to the back. I was mistaken, that's not there. So it looks like there's only 1 landing gear in front. So that makes it easy. Okay, and then you have your fuel tanks under each side. Now in between the 2 engineering bays, the instructions ask for a control center. Control center. I think it's a control station or a computer core. What is it? Control station. So that goes there. So now in the back, what we're going to do is we're going to add the 2x1 infirmary, the armory, and once again we can copy this. We have the armory, and then we're going to switch the variant to the infirmary. We'll put that there, and then we need an all-in-one. There we go, all-in-one. That's going to go there. And the last piece that we would put here, well, it would actually go in this spot right here, is a 2x2. But since we don't have that, we're going to leave the armory hanging right here, and we're going to move on to the 3rd level. The instructions say to put a Hope 1x1, a Hope 1x1 at the front of each of these engineering bays. Then the Deimos 3x1 all-in-one and the Deimos 3x1 living quarters there behind it. Now, you can tell already that these ladders are going to be a nightmare, but we're going to fix that later on. Alright, so on top of this companionway, we can actually add our Docker, and the instructions ask for the Connect Pro Docker Top. That's the one that we're going to use. I'd prefer the slim one, but again, we can fix that later and make it look better later. Okay, so in between these 2, we're going to put the Deimos computer core between those 2, which I feel like these 2 should be swapped, but that's fine. Okay, so here, behind the all-in-one, we're going to put the Deimos 2x1 living quarters, and the spot right here uses another 2x2 that we don't have access to, so we're going to leave that there. But we're done with the 3rd level of the core stuff, so we're going to move on to the 4th level. On top of the Deimos, the computer core, we're going to put another 1x1. We're actually going to put it over here, and in the front, we're going to put The Nova cowling here. Yes, the 1 LTF is the cowling that goes in front of the 1x1 over the computer core. On the back side here, we get our captain's quarters, which you can use whichever one you like, but the instructions here are for the Hope Tech captain's quarters. On the back, you can throw down a little porthole for a nice little view of the back of the ship. Now, we're going to get a Stroud, which piece is this? The Stroud Cap A starboard. My port here. Piece. Let's see here. Stroud Cap A. And we're going to make sure that that looks forward, and we're going to get that piece in particular. But we're going to move this back so it's in line with the thing here, and it doesn't cover our companionway, because we're going to be setting this same layout over here on the other side. Next is another piece of cowling. This time it is the Stroud Cowling 1A starboard. This one. Yep. The 1LA starboard. Then behind this, we actually get into some cargo space, which this galleon piece doesn't actually show up until you're like level 20 or something. So I guess I should say that's the galleon S202. Then we can finish it up with one of these, but we just flip it to the back. And we make that whole weird shape. So we can copy all of this. I'm pretty sure we can copy it all. And unfortunately, we have to flip each piece individually. So just put that into place. You get that nice little smooth top there. Looks pretty good. And we're actually done with the 4th level, so we can move back down to 3. So what we're going to do is, like before, we're going to add one side, and then we're going to duplicate it on the other side. Okay, so grab the Stroud cap, and we're going to make a copy of it and send it down to the lower level, or level 3. Yeah, I was just double checking. The cap is going to go all the way to the front of the ship, because the cockpit, or the bridge, is going to be right here on the edge. So get your cowling, move it to the front of the all-in-one berth in line with the 1x1 companionway. Behind it, we're going to get the Stroud Cowling 13A. Where are you at? Stroud Cowling 13A. There we go. The Stroud Cowling 3LA starboard in this case. Behind that, we're going to get the Hope Tech radiator, which I really, really like these pieces. These things look really good. And then behind this is one of our engines. Now, here is the sticking point. It doesn't look like I can get it here. We have to go to one of the dealers. But the engine that we use is the SAL 6830. And this thing has a power consumption of 2, but its engine thrust is like at 18,000 and its maneuvering thrust is at like 8,000. It is a very powerful engine for the power cost. And at 2 power, you can get 6 of these things. Each one is about 65,000 credits. So, like I said earlier, this is where your main cost is going to be for this ship. And, you know, those engines are going to be great for hauling this thing around because it's massive. But the only way to get those engines is by doing the quest with Walter, where you're sneaking around where you go to get the artifact, and you make the deal with the guy in the lounge, and then the boss guy wants the artifact back. If you don't kill the boss guy at the end, he makes a deal with Walter, and you get access to a special engine that only pops up at places that deal in Stroud stuff. It's kind of a result of their contract deal, right? Their business deal. But that's the only way you can get that engine. So if you kill that guy, you don't get the engine. And it's only available at certain vendors, and we'll have to pick it up later on when we get the specialized pieces. So for now, it doesn't really matter what engine we use. So we just use whatever engine we had at the time. It doesn't necessarily matter. We just got to get past the error count. So for now, just use whatever engine you have, stick it on the back of the HopeTech radiator, and that is actually done. We're just going to copy each one of these pieces and then duplicate them to the opposite side. And then we get this kind of square looking thing. Yeah, once you get the bridge on the front, it looks better. But I think you can already see how spaghetti mess this is already. But those engines, they actually look really, really cool. They stack tall like that, and they're just straight vertical pieces, and they fit right inside this space. They look really, really nice. Let's see. So our ship right now, it says we have low mobility, but it doesn't say we need another engine. So we can just use what we have and just go with that. And I think I'm just going to do that. I'm going to use whatever engines I have, and I'm just going to stick them on the back. Do I only have the two? But since we're basically going to finish the ship and then we're planning on completing the ship, we don't really need these to be super powerful. We don't need to buy engines that make this work, because we're going to buy the engines that we need later on. It just needs to be functional so we can save the ship and get out. Okay, so now that we have this here, we can just make sure that that's connected, and just double click everything to make sure that infirmary is connected under there, and this other piece is connected under our ship here as well. That should be fine, because we had this one just hanging out by itself. And your 2x2 goes here, and your other 2x2 goes right here. So just visualize that, and you'll see where we're going with that. Okay, so before we go too far, move this out of the way, because what we're going to do is we're going to put some... Well, just move it out of the way for now, because we need to be able to see in here for the next step. So these pieces, we can move these out of the way for now. And on this side, which ones go here? Okay, so it looks like we need the Stroud cowling. I think it's the same as this one, yeah. So just make a copy of that, bring that down. And then over here, we're getting a Deimos hull. Deimos hull A. Now, it's asking for... Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. It's not this piece. Okay, I don't have to worry about that. So, the Deimos hull and the cowling. Actually... which cowling version is it asking for? According to this thing, it says SB, so let's see. Cowling 1LB ST. So the piece that looks like this is the one that the instructions are asking for. Behind this, we add another radiator. And then behind this, you would set another engine. Now, in front of this, we're going to add the Nova cowling. The Nova cowling 2LSM. That goes in front here. Okay, so here's why we left this piece out of the way. What we're going to do is we're going to add a fuel tank here. According to the instructions, this was an M40 Ulysses fuel tank. Oh, one of the ones that I have. Nice. So we'll just grab that, and we're going to lower that one level. And then you may as well just, you may as well duplicate this and send it to the other side here, because we're pretty sure that that winds up right there. Yep. Okay, so on this side, we need some storage. Now you can pick whatever pieces you want, whichever ones fit here. According to the instructions, this is a Galleon S201. Galleon S201. And that fits nice and snug there. However, I'd like to point something out, that the Galleon S203, you get 1,200 cargo at a mass of 252. This thing has the best ratio of cargo to weight out of all of the cargo holds. Some of these other bigger ones, they're close, but it's literally the best value. So from now on, me personally, I'm going to be using the Galleon S203s whenever I can. The S202 isn't bad, so you can still use that. But for now, we will go ahead, since we're not really worrying about it, we're going to follow the instructions and throw in the Galleon S201. And then we're going to make a copy of that, flip it, and then move it off to the other side where nothing exists. I'll just set it there for now and move that out of the way. Okay, so now what we can do is we can copy each piece. Well, I guess that doesn't do me much good. Let's see. There we go. Right on top. Yeah, that fixes it. Okay, so connect those to that, and then we can connect our landing gears that were just hanging out for no reason. Yep, there was my mistake. Never mind. We need a connection point pointing at the bottom in order to connect that piece. So we'll just suck it up and this is it. Change the variant. There we go. Now that move both of them. Just have to put one of them back, don't we? Okay, so I made that mistake. So then we just duplicate everything to the other side. We connect our landing gear underneath the Hope radiator, the Deimos hull. The Deimos skeg goes under the cowling. This leads, the Nova cowling goes forward, the second one. We have a bit of storage here and another fuel tank off in that little space. And then we can cover that with the long cowling. There we go. Okay, so now we're basically done with this thing. We have a few other things we need to worry about, but just get whatever shield that you had on your ship originally, whichever one you decided to use. Just find a place for it. Like we said before, it doesn't necessarily matter too much. And now our final touch is something that isn't going to look very good, but it's just something that we need, that the instructions ask for. We're looking for the tile cowling, and we're just going to go to the top, and then we're going to make bottom tile. Now these two pieces are going to go right here in the middle of the ship. So we're just getting them on the ship and we'll move them later. Now let's see, we're just going to add whatever cockpit you had before, your original one, whichever one you had first. Now, once you add that cockpit, we're basically done at our outpost. As you can see, I spent 65,149 after I traded in the all of my original parts, which I think were like 26,000. So adding the two, that 80, 90, this is about 93,000 credits to build the foundation of our ship. So, not too bad. Next, we're going to Nova to finish up some of these pieces. And that let me do that thing, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to upgrade our design, since we're building the ship anyway.
working toward that next
Okay, so first things first, we can actually go to Stroud right over here.
You know the power of harmony.
I actually didn't know about this at first. And then right here, we can start working on our ship. Okay, so what we're going to start with... there we go, start building. We're going to get these out of the way, because what we need are the 2x2 habs, and we're going to start with the brig. That one. Go right there at the bottom. And then we're getting the 2x2 living quarters. And again, we can just copy it and change the variation of this. Raise it up a level, and it goes smack dab right there. Easy peasy. We're going to delete these two engines. And we're going to see how much the monstrosities are. The SAL 680. Look at this thing. Let's see, we need 6 of these. Yeah, I guess the porthole does fit there. However, as you can see, just these 2x2s are only like 1,400 apiece. The engines are 65, so already we spend almost 400,000 credits just on the engines. But our top speed is at 130, which isn't bad. Our mobility is at 100. I want to see... we might not need all of those engines. The mobility and the top speed didn't change when we deleted one of the engines. 2 of the engines. And our mobility drops when we lose the last engine. So, we don't need all 6 engines. Now, since I'm a cheapskate, I'm actually not going to worry about the 2 other engines here. Mainly because, I mean, yes, it'll look great, but if I want to upgrade this ship and make it better later on, I can't be blowing my entire wallet on this. So 4 engines gets us the mobility and the top speed, which is, you know, the main deal with the engines. You can add the 2 more if you want, but all it does is increase your power requirement, and it doesn't increase your top speed or your mobility at all. And it costs 120,000 credits. So, yeah, that doesn't change at all. So I'll leave it like that. And we'll see if this changes as we finish adding our gear and stuff. Let me see here. Actually, we're done. We're done here. So 261,000 credits for 4 of these engines and the 2 2x2s. From here, we are done. What are our 2 arrows? Oh, unattached modules and ship size. That's an easy fix. Alright. So our engines are sticking out too far, so we just have to grab everything here. And those are all just going to line up there on the side of the ship, so make that adjustment as needed. There we go. And that lines everything up just fine. So make sure the engines are lined up. There. I guess aesthetically you can kind of do what you want here. The engines can either go on the inside, once we get rid of that thing, or they can go on the outside. So that's an aesthetic choice. You can do what you want. Next, let's go to Tayo and get the landing gear.
Explains a lot about you.
You ready to change your life? We've got something.
Okay, so landing gear. What we're looking for... We are looking for the Pinpoint 4G landing gear. Just these two pieces. And they... Which ones are they going to replace? Now, these actually go under the ship. Right over here. These two... get replaced. Copy that. Move it over, and those are the only two that we get. It's a shame, too, because I like the way those look. And that's it there. So next we get to go all the way to the Deimos Star Yard. Let's see, Deimos is in Seoul, and they're actually right there. Ooh, that sounds pretty. Now here, we're replacing the 320.
Deimos and the UC are inexorably.
What do we have here?
Okay. Here, this is where we replace all of these with, let's see here. I'll delete. And then gear. The 320 CB. Those are what we replace there. We only need a handful. Just replace all of your gear with those particular pieces. I think we have 2 back here, which means 4 in the back. See, 2 in the back. Pretty sure that's all of them. Yes, that is all of our landing gear pieces. So, what else do we need? It looks like I was mistaken. It looks like our little nub friend here can go on the bottom of that right there. And I honestly don't like how that looks. But I suppose that's the fault of not having the 2 engines on the side. The aesthetic is problematic. Even so, our last stop is Nova Galactic, which is over here on Titan. And now the only thing that we need to replace here, unless
you need to offload? Trade authorities always lie.
Unless I missed
What can I
something.
do for you? Sure, how about it?
Alright, and now the only thing we need to replace, unless I missed anything, is our cockpit. We just throw in the cabot. You can get whichever cabot you like. The only difference between all of them is the amount of cargo in each one. Set that up, and we're done. Let's see, I feel like I'm missing something here. There's a lot of empty space that can fit there. Let's double check and see if we missed anything. Ah, yeah. We missed a couple of pieces. We have to go to the Deimos Star Yard if they don't have it here. Okay, so let's do this really quick. We're gonna move the wing out of the way, and then here, structural, Deimos wing port A, and then right here, we just do the Deimos, where are you at? I guess we could do that, but there it is, the hull. Yeah, and the hull was probably something that would have held something in place as well. But anyway, so we can grab this piece, copy it for the opposite, copy that piece and just bring it straight over. And that kind of fills in the gaps a little bit. And now we're done. Well, minus weapons and stuff. We make this kind of black-ish. And this one, that's already brightened up a little bit. And then like that, you know, and then you can play with the things however you like. However, in my case, since this is the razor leaf, I think I want to make this green, but kind of like a dark green. That looks pretty good. Because that's kind of the same scheme that I had originally. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm not very good at coloring my stuff. I don't like to color in the lines. I guess I could change this one up a little bit. Make those lines a little bit brighter. Change the color of my shield, I guess. The shield's not going to matter too much. Well, yeah, that's my razor leaf. This is and yeah, that's my version, at least the coloring, of the YF-937 Queen Hornet. Now, we did take a few liberties with the engines. The design asks for 2 more, but it's not necessary. Well, maybe it is. Mobility at 99. Let's see what happens if... Well, we can't get another word at Deimos, but if that matters to you, if the aesthetics are really, really important, we can shift that. But we may change these a little bit later on, but I'm going to add some weapons and some other defense stuff, and we'll kind of go from there. Now that I think about it, I may be missing some pieces that I need, so I'm going to have to mod those in, but no big deal. It looks like this thing only has a max crew of 4, but our passenger list should be pretty high. We have quite a few living areas, but we're going to do a walkthrough here, and we're going to see just how bad this thing actually is. Okay, so I finally got all the weapons set up, and this is the size of the ship. This is a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, which is kind of neat. Go inside here in a second, but the scale of the ship. Oh wait, you know what I can do? It takes up the entirety of our landing pad, which is pretty cool. Navitree. Alright, so let's see what the inside of this thing looks like. Now, this thing is going to be a nightmare. So, what we should have seen is a door on the right-hand side for the workshop that's over here. So we have our pharmacy, and then that goes all the way to the top. So let's go to the back. Nothing back there, which means we have to go up and around for the workshop over there. Okay, so this should be... Oh, this is a brig? Okay. We're in the back area brig. This is just a big thing. So this is an armory. Alright, that's nice. The armory right next to the brig. Okay, complete sense. Let's see. This is our infirmary. which is kind of nice. I think this is an all-in-one. Yeah, this is an all-in-one. Now the question is where... That's actually kind of cool. Okay. Armory goes nowhere, so we have to go up again. And so we don't fall to our death, we have to climb like a normal person. Okay, so this is what the 3x1 living space, which should lead us to... Okay. This should lead us to the cockpit. Okay, good. The one above, alright. So we don't have a ladder going directly down, which is kind of nice. This is going to lead us to the captain's quarters. This is our 1x1 captain's quarters and the porthole in the back. Which I don't like this. I don't like this one. But still pretty neat. Let's see. This is another all-in-one. This is a living space, 3x1. Yeah, 3x1. That's the one. Did we climb up this one, or is this a completely... There's a difference between the all-in-one and then the living quarters, right? This is captain's. Alright, so let's see where the bridge takes us, at least. Oh, actually, quick question. Total storage 3,660, which isn't bad. Okay, so this is a control room or the computer room, which goes to a complete dead end, which I absolutely do not like. Which ideally that would be like the captain's quarters by itself. Maybe we can swap those two and see. But regardless, we can see that this entire ship is just one big disaster. This is just a big maze. And this is one of the bigger problems that we have that leads us outside. Okay, well, that's the ship tour. So, I mean, if you build it to spec the same way that the creator did, CyberGhost did, then what we're going to end up with is this maze. We're going to end up with a maze. But for the most part, all of our ships end up this way if we don't pay attention to how we're building them. Now, think about it. I guess I need to look for that ladder. Let's see. Oh, there we go. This is the pharmacy. Oh, so it wasn't a workshop, it was a pharmacy that got completely... Never mind. Okay, so how do we get to that workshop? Because I'm pretty sure I built one. Pretty sure I built one. Pretty sure it's connected to. Okay, so this is another living area, and then a 2x2 living area, and this is the porthole to the back. Okay, And we have nothing else, but at least this area is nice and closed off. That's pretty nice. Here we go. Here's a door. Let's see. Porthole, that goes to our docker. And then this... Oh, engine room. Engineering. Hey. Okay, this engineering room is completely locked off. There should have been a computer room connected to it there. So yeah, this ship looks cool on the outside, but it is absolutely just a mess on the inside. Well, that's fine. That is perfectly fine. Let's see, captain's quarters. The next video we do with this, we're going to completely we're going to fix this. We're going to fix this. So, for now, let's take off and we'll be done with the video. Let me know what you thought about this thing in the comments below and how you'd change it around. And yeah, I'm definitely redesigning this thing to get rid of the ladders and try and make this thing make more sense to get around. Now, I can't deny that this thing does look
Let's
really
put this
cool.
bird into space.
And it's pretty sweet. And those engines look great.
Stay in orbit or jump. Your call.
Very cool. I can't zoom out any further. Oh, how about photo mode? I can't move much quicker, but that looks pretty good. Okay. So, yeah, let me know what you think in the comments below and how you would change it, how you'd go about it. And let me know what you thought about this shipbuilding video. It's going to be a mess because it's my first one and I don't have any structure, but let me know. But until next time, I'm Space Coconut, and you're welcome.